Does Air Courting a Legend suck? And yes, guys, for this review, I had to wear my Chicago Bulls MJ23 jersey. I don't have a pair of Air Jordans yet, but I gotta buy some after watching this movie because those things look pristine. Hey guys, my name is Brandon, aka the BrandoCritic. Thank you guys so much for being with me today. I really do appreciate it. I was able to see Air Courting a Legend a few days early, and I'm here to tell you if it sucks or not. But let me know, guys, are you guys a fan of the Chicago Bulls, a fan of Michael Jordan, a fan of Ben Affleck movies, a fan of Matt Damon movies? Are you guys looking forward to this movie? Do you guys have a pair of Air Jordans? Whatever the case may be, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section down below. And make sure you stick around to the end of the video so that you guys know my rating of the film, or else you might be going to a film that might not be right for you. Now, let's get started. So we have Ben Affleck in the director's chair, and honestly guys, he might be one of, if not my favorite director, because every single movie that he's made, I've really enjoyed it. You got Gone Baby Gone, The Town, Argo. I actually really liked Live by Night. I know a lot of people don't like that one. And of course we have Air Courting a Legend. And it stars Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, but we also got Jason Bateman, Chris Tucker, Marlon Wayans is in this movie. Bit surprising, but it's great to see him in here. Viola Davis, and many more. And the movie is about Nike's pitch to land the sponsorship deal with Michael Jordan for his new line of shoes, the Air Jordan. So what did I think of this movie? Well, have you guys ever seen a trailer for a movie, or you just knew about the premise of a movie and you just knew that you were gonna love it? You just knew, just deep down in your being, that there was gonna be nothing wrong with this film and it was gonna be one of the best movies of the year. I've been led astray with that feeling before, but I had that with Air. Maybe it was just Ben Affleck, maybe it was just the tone in the trailer, but I felt like I was gonna love this movie. After watching this movie in the theater, I said to myself, this is gonna be a hard movie to review, because I'm sure you guys have felt like this. Anyone who has a Letterboxd account or likes to log the movies that they see and write their little notes, everyone has felt like this at one point in their lives. When they're watching a movie, they're not actually watching the movie, they're thinking about the review that they're gonna write later in their head. So basically when they see the movie, they go, I like that, 4 out of 5. Oh wait a minute, now it's kind of boring, maybe it'll go down to a 2 out of 5. You're basically formulating the review as you're actually watching the movie. Newsflash, most people don't watch movies like this. And that's the curse of film critics, right? We are wanting to watch the movie and enjoy it, but we also have to dissect it and tear it apart and talk about what we really like about the movie. But when watching Air, I didn't really feel like that at all. I was just completely immersed into the world that this movie created, the story, the characters. I wasn't even thinking about what to write down or what to put into my review. I was just enjoying the movie. And whenever I get into that mindset, I know that the movie did something right. Because think about it, when you're watching a movie and tearing everything apart, you're not actually sitting and enjoying the movie. You're not actually immersed into the story. You're not engaged with the characters. You're just thinking about how you're going to tear this movie a new one on the internet afterwards. Air turned me into a movie lover again, not just a movie critic. So with that being said, let's turn on the movie critic brain and dissect this as much as we can. So the first reason why I think that this movie was extremely well made is the script. It is so tight and so well written. Now, I'm not a person to really dissect a script, like buy the script online and really read it before watching the movie or after watching the movie. I'm not really one of those people. I've been criticized in the past for not being one of those people in film school, but I digress. What I mean is that every single scene in this movie, no matter how mundane, it's engaging. It's thrilling, it's really, really gripping, it just has my full attention. And a big reason for that is that every single scene has a setup and a payoff in a later scene. So you have two characters talking about something and they might bring up one little piece of mundane detail, and that mundane detail comes back later in the film in a very important way, and you're like, oh yeah, that's right, I remember hearing about that in an earlier scene. Didn't really think about it much then, but it comes into play later. But you don't forget about that mundane detail either, because the script and the way that it's shot and the way that the characters are presenting everything is really engaging. It feels so natural, and I will get into the characters and the performances later. For example, Matt Damon's character Sonny goes to a 7-Eleven and he's talking about basketball with the person behind the counter. Hey man, are you sad that the Portland Trailblazers didn't actually draft Michael Jordan? Nah man, he's not gonna be anything in the NBA. Sports fans, we've had this conversation plenty of times with our favorite sports teams, the draft picks, what's gonna happen in the playoffs, you name it. But that character comes back later with a different conversation and his opinion changes. Oh, I always knew that Michael Jordan was gonna be good. We should have drafted him. And of course, this ties into the new information that we got in the movie. It's just really well formulated. And of course, that's just one example. There are many, many examples in this movie about how in the beginning of the movie, and it's paid off later, and you don't really even think about it. But like I said earlier, a big part of that is the cast. The cast in this movie is absolutely amazing. They are all so natural, and some directors, I really do believe, really focus on making sure that the dialogue dialogue and the character interactions feel as real as possible, and Ben Affleck is a master at this. And what I love about this movie is that there are big names in this movie. You go through the cast list and everyone knows who they are, but they're not mega stars. They're not mega heavy hitters. Now, Matt Damon and Viola Davis, sure, they are the biggest mega stars. They have been nominated for Academy Awards. Ben Affleck obviously is a big name, sure. But you go down the cast, right? You have Jason Bateman, and whenever I hear his name, I think of movies like Game Night or Horrible Bosses or Identity Thief, kind of like those run-of-the-mill comedies. You have Chris Tucker, you think about Friday, you think about Rush Hour. Marlon Wayans, you think about Scary Movie and a lot of Razzie-nominated movies. And yet, they are all so good in this movie. And I think that a cast like this really makes it feel more real and more natural and more likable and not pretentious whatsoever, unlike a David O. Russell film like American Hustle, Christian Bale, Jennifer Lawrence, Jeremy Renner, Bradley Cooper, Amy Adams. I don't see characters on screen. I see actors going, look at how well we can act. And this movie does not have that feeling whatsoever. Or Amsterdam, another David O. Russell film. Christian Bale, Margot Robbie, Anya Taylor-Joy. I see them on screen and I'm like, you guys are not playing characters. You guys are like getting an A+ in acting classes because you guys can act well, but you guys don't transform into a character. These characters in Air feel natural. They do feel like real people, and because of that, this movie's really funny too. It's not a bunch of gags. Sure, Chris Tucker does have some funny one-liners, but just because he's a funny character. This is not a comedy setup movie with a lot of slapstick or just really funny bottom-of-the-barrel jokes, but the characters are just funny people, and it ends up being a very natural, fun movie. And by the way, guys, if you guys like this video so far, hit the like button. I really appreciate it. Now I want to talk about the production design. 1984 is when this movie takes place, and you really know that right from the off because it starts off with a montage with Dire Straits' Money for Nothing. Amazing song, by the way. And you see all the news footage of what happened that year. Ronald Reagan was president. Princess Diana had Prince Harry. You saw the commercials of the time. You saw all the movies of the time. You saw the big artists of the time. You saw Rubik's Cubes on people's desks. They were listening to portable cassette players and Walkman. This movie just screams 80s, and it has one of the best soundtracks I think a movie has ever put together. I mean, like some of the songs, Axel F from Beverly Hills Cop. I mean, if you have that in your movie, you're already winning. But you got like All I Need Is a Miracle, Born in the USA, Sister Christian by Night Ranger. Like, are you kidding me? Tempted by Squeeze. But there were so many great songs in this movie, and I was singing quite a few times to myself. I wasn't like belting out the lyrics in the theater, but I was tapping my feet. I was kind of dancing in my seat, and every time that a movie can do that, I know that I'm having a good time. Now, I realize that, you know, not everybody likes 80s music, so I can't just say, this movie has 80s music, therefore it's a good movie. But I can talk about my own experience. So if you love 80s culture and you love 80s music, then you will really enjoy this movie because it's just chock full of it. But one thing that I really love about Ben Affleck is that his production design is really immaculate. So in Argo, the 1970s culture is just front and center. The hairstyles of the time, the fashion, the interior design. There's a scene in this movie where Jason Bateman and Matt Damon are actually arguing in the bathroom, and you see them wash their hands, and I'm like, oh my god, I remember those faucets. I remember those sink styles from the 80s. Like, it's just a sink, but I'm like, man, every single detail is just so pinpoint 1980s. All the VHS players, I love seeing that stuff, and it really does put you into the time period. The movie also made you interested in its subject matter. Nike shoes. I was never a big shoe guy. You know, I would have shoes that are comfortable, and I would think they look good, but I was never one to really, you know, buy the newest Nike shoes every single time it came out. Or, you know, I was at this store in Vegas, and I forget what store it was. I think it was in the Caesars Palace, but it was a giant shoe store. And there was a line out of the store, down the mall, into the casino, and I guess there was like this huge sale, and there was this huge wall of every single shoe you could buy, and it was just a giant event. I was never really one of those people, but after watching this movie, I want to learn more about Converse shoes. I want to learn more about Nike shoes. I want to learn more about Adidas shoes. And the most dangerous part, it makes me want to go buy Air Jordans. It makes me want to go buy some Nike shoes. Nike must really love this movie and really hope it does well, because that means cha-ching, product placement. This movie is a giant product placement, right? But I mean, that's what the story is, so it works. And I mean, House of Gucci, when I saw that, I really wanted to buy a lot of Gucci stuff. I didn't. My wallet really thanked me for that, but I did buy some Nike shoes before this movie came out a couple weeks ago. I bought those like mid Blazers 77s. I love them. I really hope I just do not splurge on more and more and more Nike shoes, because those things are comfortable, man. But what about the heart of the movie? Like the real center, the core of this movie? I think that that really works as well. It is about the human connection over profits. Michael Jordan did not want to sign with Nike whatsoever, and it was the human connection that Sonny, Matt Damon's character, really formed with the family that ultimately changed history. And it's about knowing your worth as a human being, trusting your instinct, and knowing what you know and being confident about it. And at the end, the movie made me feel warm and fuzzy. A movie about shoes. Right? So the question you want answered is, does this movie suck? Well, if you guys couldn't guess it, no. I'm so happy to say this. This and Creed 3 right now are the two best movies of the year. I'm giving this movie a 5 out of 5. I don't know if it's better than Creed 3. It might be. Give it a few days to really think about it. But either way, this is one of the best movies I've seen all year, and I hope it stays up there as well. Actually, I take that back. I hope that more movies come out that are even better than this one, just because that means we just get to see more great movies. Doesn't make this one any less special. But either way, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you guys like this video and you want to see more videos just like it, then definitely hit like and subscribe. I appreciate all the support. But if you want to really support the channel, then come join the exclusive family on Patreon. The link is down below in the description. You guys get to see content early. We have monthly watch-alongs where you guys decide the movie, we watch it together, we discuss it. I give you guys movies every single month and many other perks. It's a lot of fun. Join the exclusive family on Patreon down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.